I acknowledge these diplomas, we have one special diploma to award this evening to a member of our community who's retiring, Dr. Gloria Guba, who served as a champion for students of George Mason High School and the entire city of Falls Church for some 7 years, I believe. Seems like longer. 7 years? 11 years, I'm sorry. 11 years. Dr. Guba, if you would please join me here to receive your advanced diploma from George Mason High School. Dr. Guba will share a few words with you a little bit later in our program. On behalf of the faculty of George Mason, the Office of the Superintendent, and the school board, and with the power vested in me by the Commonwealth Department of Education, Department of Virginia, I hereby confer upon these diplomas in recognition of your fulfillment of the requirements for high school graduation. Mr. Chopra, Ms. Carney, Dr. Jones, Dr. Guba, Ms. Germer, faculty and staff of George Mason High School, parents, relatives, guests, I present you the George Mason High School graduating class of 2012. Before I offer a few words, I need to thank several members of our community, some of these people who don't receive the recognition that they so justly deserve. First of all, thanks to the members of our teaching and counseling faculty. This exceptional group of professionals inspire our children and shed light on the important connections that exist between English and social studies, mathematics and visual arts, library research and physical education, music and science, and various other configurations. If this group of distinguished professionals would please stand for a robust round of applause so that we can show our collective appreciation. Thanks also to members of our administrative support offices, the unsung heroes of George Mason High School. Thank you to Ms. Nettie, Ms. Monahan, Ms. Baldo, Ms. Richardson, Ms. Bird, Ms. Clinton, and to my boss, Ms. Flanagan, for keeping the train that is George Mason on track and on schedule. I ask that this group of dedicated and talented professionals please stand for a round of applause. Time and attention. Graduating class of 2012, as a humble representative of the adults in your life, I submit that our time and our attention are the greatest gifts we have to offer you. For the past 17 or 18 years, your parents and guardians, grandparents, aunts and uncles, have directed their time and their attention to you, to providing you with the support and guidance that you needed to reach not only this important moment in your life, but countless others before now. For the past 5 years, the majority of you have been taught by the teachers of George Mason High School, one of the most accomplished and capable cohorts of educators the great Commonwealth of Virginia has to offer. Professionals who could have chosen any career and chose to answer the call to teach. Collectively, they have decided to devote their time and their attention to you. Tonight, you stand at the ready, prepared to engage a life with more freedoms than any of you could scarcely imagine. You now have the freedom to choose how best to allocate your gifts of time and attention. Mandates have been forced upon you by the adults in your lives to this point. School, practices, religious celebrations, family gatherings and trips, medical appointments, and many other attention grabbers that have been thrust upon you. Now it's your turn. Now you are at the wheel, and you are responsible for creating your course. How will you spend your time? What will capture and hold your attention? Graduates, you are soon to fill a new role in our world. You will no longer be relegated to the sidelines with occasional opportunities to contribute, but instead you will be expected to make plays. Now is your time to take the lead and make the calls. Some great thinker once said, when given a chance to lead, take charge. Here is your chance. Now is your time. We need your attention. George Mason graduating class of 2012, you have continually excelled in mind, body, and character. Now we challenge you to be special among your peers and lead our world into an uncertain future where your time and your attention are sorely needed. During the past 5 years, you've offered no excuses, and you've heard me say it many times before. If you know it, say it with me now. Excuses are tools of incompetence used to build monuments of nothingness, and those who specialize in using them are seldom good at anything else. Congratulations, graduating class of 2012. You will be sorely missed in the halls of George Mason High School. Superintendent, to say a few words. Dr. Guba?
The unenviable position of speaking last. I'm a 1966 graduate of Sharon High School, Sharon, Pennsylvania. Do the math. It took all these years for me to truly value and to recognize how important this is. Don't take as long as I did. Last month, I strolled through George Mason High School's art show. I was struck, as many others were, I'm certain, by the depth and the quality of the creativity. Yet another profound demonstration of your talent. Then I stopped to read this. A class of 2012 artist statement. When I began taking IB art at the beginning of my junior year, I had very little background in art. However, as I learned to manipulate new techniques and use different mediums, I saw myself growing and developing as an artist. While my junior year art portfolio consisted of mostly acrylic paintings of landscapes and nature, my senior year has shown a tremendous amount of experimentation. In the past 11 years, since you entered and began first grade, and I joined the Falls Church City Schools, we have been teaching and learning, using all of the resources available to us to grow individually and together. Teachers, these graduates are what we envision when we begin with the end in mind. And graduates, you are why we have been called to this profession. But how do we define and measure your growth? A complex challenge with no simple answers. Permit me to use this occasion, your special evening, to propose one answer. A solution story where you and others to follow you are central characters. For us to raise questions, identify problems, design solutions, and sustain this community, we need to do this work together. And it begins with, and this is important, it begins with appreciating and accepting the importance of listening. Listening to and learning from diverse voices. All of us, from different walks of life, the young, the once young, the artist, the athlete, the reader, the doer, the reader-doer. All of us have the potential to teach, to share what we know, what we're able to do, what brings us joy, and how we have progressed. We start with a desire and a love for listening and hearing one another's voice tell a personal story of birth. A story that is in each and every one of us. In short, it is our learning story, with no two stories alike. There are 170 success stories here tonight in these rows, no exceptions. For each of you, in your own individual way, has progressed and achieved since that grade 1, facing challenges and making the most of opportunities all along the way. Let me conclude by returning to the artist in your midst. We left her experimenting in 12th grade. She ends her artist statement thus: my creative process involves me developing an idea, creating the artwork, and then going back to refine details and different aspects of the artwork. I've had the opportunity to deepen my knowledge of colors, textures, techniques, and mediums, which had allowed me to leave my comfort zone